I was born October the 7th, 1991 at Mobile General Hospital. I guess I came here because I hope that meant something to you.
October Baby is a movie that was inspired by a true story. It was based upon Gianna Jensen. She's an abortion survivor, and October Baby is just this really life-inspiring movie about a young woman that finds out that she has survived this abortion. And so when she finds out this information, she goes on a journey to find her birth mother. And the birth mother is who I play, Cindy Hastings, in the movie. Face to face, she comes to grip with this woman that had tried to abort her and actually has to forgive her. I think one of the things that really hit home with so many people and what was so impactful for me was that at the end of the movie I was asked to actually give my testimony. I was 13 years old and, loved smoking cigarettes, loved tight clothes and rock and roll music and everything else that went along with it. And of course what else came with that was boys. Before long I found myself in an abusive relationship by the time I was 14 years old, which was so young. I really had no high school life at all. I was married at 16 in high school. Right after I got married, got pregnant on my honeymoon. And before long I was into drugs and alcohol and just trying to sustain life. And before long I had a modeling job. The next thing I know, God's plucking me out and putting me in new places. And the outside was starting to clean up more and more, but the inside was still who I was and what I was dealing with from my past. And so as I went on through some pretty broken relationships, then came an abortion, another failed marriage, to the next thing I knew, I was just a lost, broken woman trying to raise a child. They end up playing at the end of the movie my testimony. That for me was a moment of change, incredibly, because it was the first time that I was really sharing about what had actually gone on in my life. It was easier to get rid of the child, to not be questioned again, rather than to have a child and be looked upon at that time like another failure. I think at first I definitely was scared to be that transparent. I wasn't sure what this was going to look like for me. I remember people telling me that this is something that could damage me in Hollywood. This might be something that would take me out of the game. But I always look at that and think, if you're coming from who you are and what your true life experience has been and how it resonates with you and how it can help maybe somebody else, how can there be any damage done with that? And I felt like nobody's going to be able to argue with my story because it's ultimately my story. I got to go through the stage of standing in front of this young, beautiful actress and seeing what my child may have looked like. I mean, it was a broken moment for me, but yet absolute restoration also in this moment. When you see something like that so mirrored in your life come through in a movie script, the impact is 10 times even more powerful because you can come from a true place and you can share that journey and that story from reality. It's not a makeup place. My book is called Beautifully Flawed, Finding Your Radiance in Your Imperfections. I think so often that we forget that our flaws can be so impactful to others, not wanting people to see something that's not perfect. But see, what happens is that when we continue to put those things off, we forget that the real beauty that's inside of us is from the journey that we've been on and the life lessons that we've learned. And it's so much more interesting to be with somebody and say, wow, you've gone through that. I can relate to that. So Beautifully Flawed to me resonates with being human. It shares who we truly are because we're all flawed. But I really truly believe the moment that we can recognize it, share it, and be okay with it is when our true beauty will resonate with others.